Beauty of these old pots is they can actually be taken apart. This tone control pot was really stiff, and I've taken it out of the set. There's a little collar, there's a little circlip at the bottom of the shaft that I've managed to pry out, and in there the grease has gone all gummed up and made it hard to turn, so I'm going to clean off the old grease with some contact cleaner, and I'll replace it with some machine oil. Okay, well, I've cleaned and re-lubed that pot shaft. Smoother than a baby's bum now. I squirted a cotton bud with some contact cleaner, run it inside the shaft bearing, I suppose you can call it, for lack of a better term. Got all the old dirty grease out and put some machine oil in there. Re-crimped it. I kind of bent the little circlip a little, but it's still staying on there, but it's a lot smoother than it was before anyway. It shouldn't gum up anymore. That's some good news. Parts for this radio arrived, and we're going to replace the resistors and capacitors that I measured in the last video. Fancy soldering iron. There's not enough room on this desk. Fire up my iron. Wait for it to warm up, and we're going to start replacing some components. I might pause the video and I'll replace the components, and I'll do an after shot once I've replaced them. That's a before shot. A couple of hours later, I've replaced majority of all the passives. The old filter cap is essentially disconnected because I don't have any tag strips. I'm using one of the old lugs. I've shorted one of the lugs to ground and using the old cap as a terminal strip. I cut the earth off because I don't think it actually needs earthing, because it's got a transformer in it, so it theoretically shouldn't need it. So I'll stick in that, I think it's the IF, or the RF amp. I'll have to stick that tube back in, and I'll reattach the speaker and I'll fire it up. I'll probably leave it recording. Oop. To the chassis. I don't know if it's seated properly, but it should be seated enough. Speaker. Clean the disc off a bit. See over. Oops. Ah, for goodness sake. Desk is too small. This might need two hands. Have to put you down for a bit. Sends a power cord. Okay. Let's see what happens. I don't have a Variac, so this is going to be interesting. Dial lamp. It's a bit. Oh, don't have an aerial attached. Oh.
Its own decision. Got All Black Adam Thompson's one-week ban for stomping doubled last year. But Hall was confident justice will be done. He outperforms every unit, which is actually a customised shipping container from Containers Direct. He has everything he needs, including a kitchen sink. Great for coming home to after a hard day rebuilding the city. You could say it's the perfect pad.
I see what you did there.
There are 101 uses for shipping containers, but only one place to source them all. ContainersDirect.co.nz. Stock standard to super modified.
News talks in.
Okay.
Blackwell's Holden at the
That tone controls a bit.
Christchurch Botanic Gardens celebrates its 150th anniversary on Tuesday the 9th of July. At 4 o'clock on the day there will be a tree planting ceremony held at the Armstrong Lawn, open to the public. And also we'll be celebrating by filling a time capsule. Fill it. Listen to Canterbury. Contribute to this bank of memories or go to ccc.govt.nz.
From commodities to currencies, it's Williams Means Business with regional.
Going into that last couple of minutes for sure, and did the job too, jumped out. It was too good here, but his missed tight, but got it right tonight, and too good here.
In other words, 98% capacity looking at it the other way. There's been all sorts of headlines that
.co.nz. Take a quack at winning $1 million in the Christchurch Casino $1 Million Duck Race to support the Child Cancer Foundation.
Okay. The treble side of the tone control doesn't seem to work right, but
and join the race. There's heaps of other events as well, including
I don't think there's anything on the low end of the scale anyway, but seems to be getting some stations.
have a power shortage that's looking pretty imminent in this country. So a guarantee from the government, Minister, but people not buying.
You have living cost % in the past 5 years?
Yeah, I think quite a shock here that the report says that there has been an unprecedented financial burden on the poor. This is the Joseph Rowntree Foundation. It says that rising costs of childcare and energy, coupled with stagnating wages and benefits,
Seems to be working okay, but I think that tone control, the treble end of it, makes it go quiet, so I think there might be enough value I've put in.
Now, let me just talk through some of the figures here. Since 2008, it's saying the real inflation has climbed 25%. Alone. 2% increase in that.
I don't know if it'll need a lining or anything, but
They could include a new house, a new car.
I think that's a pretty weak station actually. That's up full bull.
Get unstuck with the award-winning Mega Advertising. megaadvertising.co.nz.
Radio Live. From 7, it's Karen Hay and Andrew Fagan. Radio Live's 3 News simulcast.
Taste out for lunch. Yeah. And the food's pretty high standard. It's good.
Very good. Really enjoyable.
Yes, nice. Filling me up.
Wonderful. Worth having. Come again.
It's a privilege to serve you lunch and dinner at Sequoia 88.
I'll just
In
fix that
2011,
dial
when
lamp
Ken
up
Ring
a bit
predicted Canterbury's
and
2
put it
major
back
earthquakes, he became a household name. But when he predicted another major quake on March 20th of that year, the scientific community was so unimpressed they gathered for lunch on the Port Hills to show what they thought of his foresight. Clearly, things aren't always what they seem. The press uncovers the real stories behind the headlines and gets under the skin of issues that affect the day-to-day lives of its readers. So make sure you pick up the press today. You'll be surprised at what you can find when you look closer.
Sections at Preston's are selling fast. Free geotech report.
And here's the finished radio.
Mile race, so special, and while it was called the Miracle Mile because of course it was Roger Bannister and John Landy. Yep, Warwick Dalton. Yes, remember the name. I think it was. I think he won a gold medal. I think he's based in Tauranga now, Warwick Dalton.
He's in Tauranga, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he might be in Tauranga if I'm correct. I think he might have won that medal. What, 1974? Was it that Commonwealth Games?
74, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a feeling it was 70. It might have been before that. To be honest.
Yeah, I knew him. He came into the army when I was in the army as a 18-year-old, you know, doing their training, and I thought he had won the medal before that, but he used to train on his bike while he was in doing his service.
No, I actually had riding the Tour of Southland with Jack Swart when he decided to make a comeback at the age of 47.
Not sure why it's doing that. Loose tube. Got a loose tube.
Like I'm harsh, but when I grew
And
up,
after a brief, I think it's
you wanted from any age.
one of the IF amplifier tubes. It was making a crackling noise when I tapped it, so after resetting that,
Exactly.
it
What
was
is your
done.
solution? What's your alternate view?
You had to be able to play a ball.
Well, I'm sure it was the same in your family, and I think there's that lack of
Don't really get many stations out here, but
discipline now.
You know, I think the fourth estate should be born out of a democracy, not out of...
it's mostly just talk back stuff these days. I don't think there's anything on the low end of this. Especially with, I just got a wire hanging off the back side of the aerial.
Day with the family, and I get to do it all again.
Get somebody else to take care of the annoying bits in your weekend. Call Greenacres on 0800 803 2acres.co.nz.
Peace. Arrived.
It's a duplicate station there.
Shark has been taking all the shortcuts through, and they were followed by Major Look. Over on the inside, Reign of Pain, and then came Good Time Slater, which eases 3 deep, and then Sookin' Up and Chief Destroyer. They quickened up to 29 for the second quarter, and Lenny the Shark down the back is 5 metres in front of Really Under Fire in Ginger Bliss. Major Look goes 3 wide.
Racing station.
Good Time Slater off the track from Reign of Pain, Lightning Shark, and then Sookin' Up and Chief Destroyer. Heading off the back straight, Lenny the Shark the leader. 3 metres to Major Look, looming up out wide. Ginger